It's 2 a.m. You're lying there in the dark, phone face down on the nightstand. She's asleep beside you. Or maybe she's in another city, another life. That you can feel it, that distance that has nothing to do with miles. You love her, but you've never said it. Not really. And neither has she. You tell yourself it's understood, that actions speak louder than words, that real love doesn't need a performance or a declaration. But here's what keeps you awake, the 9 question buried beneath all that logic. If we both feel it, why can't we say it? Let me explain why. This isn't about shyness. It's not about being stoic or emotionally intelligent or playing it cool. This is about fear wrapped in silence. And that silence, it's killing something between you. Because unspoken love isn't mysterious. It's not deep. It's a defense mechanism. You think you're protecting yourself. You think that by not saying it, you keep the power. You stay in control. You avoid the vulnerability of rejection, the embarrassment of being the one who cares more. But what you're really doing is building a relationship on emotional cowardice. And she's doing the same thing. Here's the psychology. When 2 people refuse to verbalize their emotions, they create what's called ambiguous relational territory. It's a space where nothing is defined, nothing is promised, and nothing can truly hurt you, because nothing is real enough to lose. But here's the trap. That safety, it comes at a cost. You can't build intimacy in ambiguity. You can't create depth in a relationship where both people are too afraid to be seen. So what happens instead is this. You exist in a loop. Physical closeness without emotional honesty. Routines without commitment. Love without language. And over time, that silence becomes the relationship. You stop trying to say it because you've gone too long without saying it. Now it would feel forced, weird, too much. So you stay quiet. You convince yourself it's fine. You point to the little things, the way she touches your arm, the way you remember her coffee order, the inside jokes, the late nights. You say, she knows. But does she? Let me tell you about a man I'll call Daniel. Daniel was in a relationship for 3 years. Never once said, I love you. Not to her face, not in a text, not even drunk at 3 a.m. when every wall comes down. He convinced himself it didn't matter, that she understood, that their connection was beyond words, until one night she told him she was leaving. Not because she stopped loving him, but because she never knew if he did. She said, I spent 3 years trying to read your silence, and I'm exhausted. Daniel was devastated. He tried to explain, tried to tell her everything he'd been feeling all along, but it was too late. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a communication. And silence, no matter how comfortable, is not a language. It's the absence of one. Here's the truth most men won't admit. You stay silent because you think it makes you stronger. You think vulnerability is weakness. You think the moment you say, I love you, you hand her a weapon. You give her leverage. You lose the upper hand. But that's not strength. That's fear disguised as strategy. Real strength is standing in front of someone and saying, this is what I feel, and I'm not afraid of what happens next. That's power. Because when you speak your truth, you take control of your narrative. You stop waiting for her to guess. You stop hiding behind implications and assumptions. You step into the relationship fully. No masks, no games, no safety nets. And yes, that's terrifying, but it's the only way to build something real. Now, let's talk about her silence, because this isn't one-sided. If she's not saying it either, there's a reason. Maybe she's waiting for you to go first. Maybe she's been hurt before and learned that words mean nothing without action. Maybe she's protecting herself the same way you are, building walls, keeping distance, staying safe. Or maybe she doesn't feel it. And that's the part you're avoiding, isn't it? Because as long as it's unspoken, you can live in the maybe. You can pretend the silence is mutual understanding instead of mutual avoidance. But the moment you say it, the moment you put it out there, you force the truth into the light. And the truth might not be what you want to hear. So here's what you need to understand. Unspoken love is not love in its purest form. It's love in its safest form. And safety is the enemy of depth. You can have a relationship built on silence. Plenty of people do. But you can't have intimacy. You can't have trust. You can't have the kind of connection that survives the hard seasons, the arguments, the doubt, the slow drift that happens when life gets complicated. Because intimacy requires exposure. It requires you to be seen. And you can't be seen if you refuse to speak. So what do? You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop convincing yourself that she already knows. You stop hiding behind the idea that words don't matter. You look her in the eye and you tell her. Not because you need her to say it back. Not because you're trying to lock her down or manipulate a response, but because you owe it to yourself to be honest, to stop living in the gray space between fear and love. And if she says it back, good. You've built something real. If she doesn't, you've learned something real. Either way, you're no longer drowning in silence. It's 2 a.m. again, but this time, you're not lying there wondering. You're lying there knowing. And that's the difference.